You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Bones Harcourt Liberty Podcast. This is episode number 389 of the Essentially Favorite Podcast on the NPR network. I'm Jeremiah, joined today by two men who are just so damn excited to host the show today that they've been arm wrestling over who gets to do the next part of it. Chase, Peyton, and Bones, Mr. Bones Harcourt. And of course, we have executive video producer, audio engineer, marathon runner to the stars, the man that once passed Tony Kanaan in a race, Mr. Zach Burcham. True. What do we have planned today, gentlemen?
We got something about a property tax.
Yes.
Whether you're getting relief or you're not, who knows?
We have resolution on that, although maybe not.
Evidently, Indiana's losing money.
I mean, maybe. You have to shake the couch cushions.
We're going to talk about the park here in Henry County.
Yes.
And then sports. I guarantee we talk about Jeremiah's IndyCar.
Zach's IndyCar. And maybe Lee Corso. Who knows? This show's about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. I've still got the jalapeno stuck in my teeth. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you'll always learn something new. We just did 20 minutes of quality entertainment.
Quality.
Patreon side of the show.
Some would say the best we've ever done.
Probably.
Plausibly so. But some of that Patreon entertainment is about ready to flow over into the main show because Chase has a very special gift presentation he's going to make right now.
Okay.
To Mr. Bones.
So, Bones.
Yeah.
I've got this shirt for you.
Okay.
I won this shirt on a bet on one of the multiple betting sites that I bet on 3 years ago.
Okay.
Roughly. It was not in the first place I looked. This was buried deep. It was in a tote in my basement.
Has this ever been used for cleanup? Or
this is a very small.
It's not stiff, is it?
So this is an XL, but they might have messed up. It might be a kid's XL because it looks small. I put it on one time.
If we put this on and Bones is showing off his belly button, he has to keep it on the rest of the show.
This has never been washed, so you're gonna want to wash it. It's been in a tote in my basement for years now.
It moves though, right? It's not like stiff.
It's not stiff.
Okay.
There is a stain that I don't even know what the stain is on it. But like I said,
what color is
brown.
the stain?
I smelled it. It is not poop.
Boy, you're really selling this gift.
Oh.
You don't have to take it, but I do think it's a pretty cool shirt if you are a Tar Heels fan.
Okay.
There you go.
You ready?
This is the greatest hyping of a gift ever.
I'm glad it's ironed.
That is a small looking shirt.
Coach K funeral.
Oh, I love it.
And there's scores on there.
Oh, I so love it.
Do you want it? Because I am never going to wear it.
Fuck yeah.
See if it fits.
Oh, sorry. 745.
Oh my goodness.
You can't offer this and not cuss. I'm sorry.
You are the only Tar Heels fan I know personally. I would wash it.
A little Febreze.
I have no idea what that stain is.
A little Brillo pad.
I think it's just rust. It's been in a tote in my basement.
He went straight in with the nose. Stand up. Let's see how. Oh, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Perfect. That works fine.
It's the perfect fit for him.
It's his new
That's
podcast
nice.
shirt.
If Jeremiah didn't already give you blue balls, I would give you a hug.
Well, how special is this?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow,
Chase is cool.
Oh, now you're good friends.
Yeah.
Got to say thanks to the patrons, Chase. Who are we thanking this week?
Oh, we're Jeremiah. Contact your fuzzy. Do we have an eye doctor?
Yeah, Dr. Walden or Dr. Horn.
Jonathan Phillips Wetzel Ford. I am going to visit you one day.
You gonna buy a brand new Lincoln? Maybe a Mercury Grand Marquis.
I'm gonna do a F450, Jeremy.
Ooh, a big boy.
Yeah.
What are you gonna use that F450 for?
Oh, I gotta tow my new RV from Thomas Oaks at Walnut Ridge RV.
Okay.
And then I'm going to visit Varsity Outfitters, Blake Reese, and get a new shirt.
Maybe a new North Carolina shirt.
Maybe a new North Carolina shirt.
Something in Tar Heel blue.
Yeah.
Very good.
Get some custom Coach K shirts made up. Were you a big Krzyzewski fan?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
With the rivalry?
No.
You didn't care for the man?
I didn't care
You
for
didn't
the man.
like...
Still don't care for the man.
You didn't like war heroes?
How do you feel about Christian Laettner?
He's another douchebag as well. Anybody who goes to Duke is a douchebag. I'm sorry, there's no way.
Thank you to those guys for being a part of the show. $50 more a month. You get to the very top of the episode. You also get the show notes dropped into a Facebook group. The news was breaking so much today. This is version 2 of the show notes, boys.
Oh, boy.
This is version 2.0 because we're going to get into it later in the show. The state was running out of money and more ideas of how to harvest more of your cash kept coming up. There's an A missing as well. Nobody caught this when I sent the notes out earlier.
Oh,
Indian passed property tax bill. Indiana.
Is this casino or gas station?
How? I think they're all gas station here.
Big fan.
I don't know that we have any casino
Big fans.
left.
Yeah,
Maybe up north.
Southern Indiana's owned by
Which one?
Caesars.
No, that's Italian.
No,
That's Italian.
no. It's owned by natives.
Isn't Caesars like that's a company? I believe they're owned by
They're Italian. They're out of Rome.
Yeah, I think they're owned by Indians.
Maybe
So what'd they pass?
Well, they passed something, and then maybe they're going to take it back.
Oh, an Indian giver.
They're legislators is what they like to be called. That's the proper name. That's the proper noun. All right, so
Serious.
everybody compose yourselves. Senate Bill 1 we've been talking about is now signed into law. There was a deal struck. The governor agreed. They went from the $200 to $300 in property tax relief. We talked about it last week. It included a lit option for locals. There was all kinds of machinations. It was like a 350-page bill. It was passed on Monday night, or Tuesday morning, into the morning. Everybody agreed on the House side, or enough of them agreed on the House side. I think ultimately it was five votes that it got through on the Senate side. So if 2 or 3 people changed their mind, it would have been in trouble. But it got through the Senate, and Governor Braun signed it immediately the next day. Micah Beckwith over the weekend had gone from kind of being okay with it. The lieutenant governor, who was a shotgun marriage, thanks to Rob Kendall, with the governor and the lieutenant governor. Beckwith ran on the "I'm going to be on your side with the property tax" stuff. He got beaten up pretty hard by Rob on the radio, and then over the weekend, Beckwith changed his mind and said he is calling for the governor to veto it. Didn't happen. The governor moved forward, signed the bill, and you are all going to have lower property taxes soon.
When this
Well,
says
not Chase because he rents, but everybody else.
when this says includes lit options, what does that mean?
So that's the local income tax.
Okay.
So they have increased the ability, if you live in the city, say you live in the city of Rushville, the city of Newcastle, it will allow your city council to now put an income tax in to help replace some of the revenue that was taken away from the property tax relief. So you might save $200 on your house this year, but to make up for that, to pay for your fire department, to pay for your police department, to pay for your city sewers or whatever, they want to have a mechanism in place. And the sales pitch from the legislators was, listen, you can vote them out a hell of a lot easier than you vote us out. So we're going to let them pass that tax. And if you don't like it, you can fire them. But we aren't going to raise your taxes. We're going to let the locals do it.
Yep.
That's the plan. So if I'm a legislator, I'm going to say, look, they just forced my hand, and if I was advising them politically, I wouldn't wait 5 seconds. I would do it right freaking now to the max, put it in place, and just go with it, because they're all going to do it to you anyway. and they're going to catch hell for it when they do. If they wait a year or two, Zach, if they just say the hell with it, as soon as it's available, drop it in, blame the state legislator, blame the state senators, and you're all going to pay more. And that's the way tax relief is going to work. Maybe I'm a little cynical this week. I don't know, but I think that's what's coming.
Bones, I stole your headphones. You want mine?
Nope, these are all good.
Okay.
Can you hear yourself? Do you feel good about it?
I feel good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to play some music then, and Bones can't listen.
Yeah. This is according to Clay Morgan, friend of the show. He posted a pretty good summary of how this could affect local government. He broke it down to like Newcastle and then individual school systems. And he said, the county can add an additional 0.07%, and then the cities and towns can raise
1.2, I think, right?
He said 1.9.
1.9. Even more fun.
Yay. Yeah.
So you're going to pay, you're to like a 3.5 now, maybe 4% local. Drop another point, whatever, you get to 4.5. You might pay 6% income tax on your on the city side.
Yeah, he said that for a person who makes about $40,000, you'll probably save in Henry County $200 to $300 on your property tax bill, but you might pay another $760 in income taxes.
Nice. So basically, what they're doing was you get a little money, but then they're not using any loop.
This is kind of what they
you get a little taste. All right,
even worse,
you get a little taste.
Even worse, Chase, is that you rent, right?
Yeah.
So you're not people. That
I'm
own
not
your house
getting anything.
aren't
You're
gonna
not
get
even
anything.
getting. You're not even getting a taste. You're just getting.
And here's the trifecta. If we're using horse terms,
We are.
yeah. If
Okay.
we're using the trifecta.
Okay, I thought
If
I
we're
went back to taste.
If we're using, was there a horse named Taste? Look that one up on the racehorse finder. See when it was. Did Taste run the Belmont in '86?
I believe so.
Okay. Sad that Taste. Never mind.
This is what I get for writing in Kanye's name.
For the trifecta, we're gonna get through this, kids. The schools aren't going to get any of the property tax. So this reduction will reduce what the schools get. The schools do not get anything from your lit. So you're going to see a bunch of school kids being used as imagery to say, hey, we're not going to be able to educate your kids the way we were before. So now Newcastle Community Schools, Blue River, Shenandoah, Charles A. Beard, whatever, Rushville, we need to put a property tax increase in, a referendum, because that's the only way they're going to be able to get additional revenue from the school, because you're going to have less revenue for the schools. They can't get any of the lit. That's only allowed to go to municipalities, and they're not going to give that to your school districts. So that's the next part. That's the next
So then your
chapter
property
of the
taxes
story.
could then just go up anyway.
Yes.
You have to vote for it as
Yes.
a community, but yeah.
Yeah.
The state loves
Doesn't
to
this feel good?
Yeah. They love to like create a problem and like move money around and then make the local governments deal with the ramifications.
The Indianapolis Star was very, is probably not a surprise, but was very critical of the governor and what he did, because he didn't. When we covered this all summer long, Zach. There was really no direction in the governor's race as to what anybody wanted to do. They just all wanted to be governor. They just wanted to be next.
Yeah.
And the state's run pretty
You get
well.
Cool cars.
So
No, you get a hell of a head.
in the
You gotta be-
in the void of having any direction or leadership, this property tax issue kind of became the attractive thing. And the governor, senator at the time, but the governor kind of showed interest in it. He got stuck with Beckwith, and he said, okay, yeah, we're going to do this. And by October or November, all of a sudden it was the number one issue. The state legislature said, no, we don't really want to do it that way. No, we really don't want to do it that way. The governor kept saying yes. And then he got a little bit of relief. But in the process, he pissed off all the teachers. They had a huge rally of remember the Red for Rob shirts we did? Red for Rob Kendall? The Red for Ed teachers were out in force on Monday, and they were unsuccessful. I think they swayed a bunch of senators, but it didn't do anything. And it also pissed off a bunch of the conservative side of the governor's base, the fiscal conservatives that actually thought they were going to get relief, and it didn't happen. So he pissed off everybody on the way to something that didn't really turn into a big win. So James Briggs, the columnist over at the Indy Star, he summed it up and said Braun got suckered into a promise he couldn't keep. And now ain't nobody happy.
And then they got their tax projections.
Yeah. So they signed the bill. And then it's a crazy thing how this works. So every 2 years we write a budget, and they've been in session since January.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be done by the end of this month. So April 30th by statute is signed 9. That's when they have to close this out. Yesterday, April 16th, they get their tax prediction saying, hey, listen, guys, we're going to be $2.4 billion short of the revenue we expected to have. So we need to trim $2.4 billion or find $2.4 billion more money than we thought we had, which caused total and complete panic.
I kind of love this because they've been spending the last 3.5 months. We're in April, telling local municipalities, you need to tighten your belts. You need to tighten your belts because we're cutting your taxes that you make money off of. And but like I said a couple times, the state's they didn't cut any taxes that deal with state government. And then they passed the bill to cut local government's income. And then they find out, oh, by the way, you get to figure out how to do this too.
Yeah. The chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, Abdul Hakim Shabazz, has done a great job of getting the raw interviews. And he interviewed the chairman of the Finance Committee, and the guy said, yeah, I kind of thought in the back of my head it'd be $1 billion. He was kind of planning on $1 billion. Comes back at 2.8 or 2.4. So they had their breath knocked out of them. The Democrats have said, hey, we want to add. How's the anti-smoking thing going, Bones? Are we down to 0 packs a day?
Good timing.
I feel like I'm in a better mood today.
Good. How many cigarettes though?
We're still 5.
We're on the patches.
No
patches.
No patches.
We've weaned off those, and we're down to 5.
Yes.
What? Just don't incriminate yourself. But like, how many? We were doing more than 5 before. I saw.
Oh, before this started, it was a pack a day.
So 20.
Yep.
So you're down to 25%.
Yes.
So the Democrats and now the Indiana Chamber of Commerce have come out and they've endorsed this. They have said they want to solve this with a $2 per pack additional charge on a pack of cigarettes.
How much are a pack of cigarettes? I'm a tobacco chewer.
Winston's last I looked were $2.99. Is that right?
Oh, damn, that's been a
It's
while.
been a minute.
Marlboros are probably up to $10, I think. I'm not a Marlboro smoker, but Camels.
What was your thing?
Camels,
Virginia Slims,
Virginia Slimes, Camels,
American Spirit.
I think $8.25 a pack.
How do you feel about the people who smoke the Camel
Non-filtered.
Precious?
Oh, it's a cigarette. I look down on people now who smoke.
Peasants. So $800 million a year in additional revenue if they did that. $800 million. It also includes taxes, like damn near doubling taxes on the vapors, which I think is a little shitty. They're going to take the e-cigarette tax is 15%. They're going to take it to 31%, is what their proposal was. That's a smoking cessation. It used to be a smoking cessation.
No,
thing.
it is very popular.
Now everybody does.
It's
I
trendy.
think that they should like break those down, like the vaping into like this criteria enables you to be considered a smoking cessation product, and this one is just a different way of consuming nicotine product, and you should be able to separate those in terms of how they're taxed. Because that's a thing that some people use it, but that's a lot of people. It's just a trendy way to sneak tobacco into places you're not supposed to have tobacco.
So the closed patch. So I think there's 2 ways to do it. You could put your own juice in and home brew it, like like the person that rolls their own cigarettes.
Yep.
Those people would have their tax go up from 15% to 31%. If you're one of the Juul guys, or what are the other brands? View, is it Juul, Views,
Something.
I don't know.
Those teenagers are going to have to pay 53% additional tax, 53% tax, from 15% to 53%.
I used to vape Big Cloud Share in college.
Explains a lot.
Thought it was very cool.
Did it help?
for the shirt
Did it help you play baseball?
No. I was already slow. It didn't help, Jared. So,
Schnozberries
are we
taste like
losing a bunch of money,
schnozberries.
Jared, because everyone's driving to Michigan and Ohio to spend it?
So that's the other thing that's on the table is legalizing cannabis.
Oh boy.
This might be what does it, Chase.
I hope we lose more money next year just to really get it close. Jared, so if they do pass this and it's legal, can we do like a little taste testing on the show? Will you do that with me? Or
I can't.
well, if it's legal,
He used to drive around for work.
are you driving around to work? How long do you think you're going to be high for, Jared?
Chase, this show's on the internet.
Well, yeah. We'll do a little taste testing.
Only in Patreon.
It's just a couple hours. So then
The ride will be over, man. I promise the ride will be over.
we can do a little gummy. We can do a little vape. We'll see which one you like more. We won't smoke a blunt or anything. You're out. I don't know.
Well,
who
we're
you're
not
renting
Elon
from.
Musk on Joe Rogan. So yeah, that's on the table too.
That would be hilarious if
Could you-
suddenly weed's the salvation for state government in the budget.
That would be so funny.
How much did they have to sell to get $3 billion in extra revenue?
I don't think.
I mean, the first week it might sell pretty quick.
Yeah, I think it would do it. I think it would do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's that here. The fun part is that they have like 2 weeks to get this done. So whatever tax increases they put in place they're just gonna piss everybody off because it's not been talked about out loud. Everything's on the
So
table.
are they
right?
just going to be throwing stuff at the wall, basically?
They could say, "Hey, we're gonna." If you have an idea that's been out there for a long time, in one that was running around last week that didn't get a hearing, was shrinking rural schools down, right? So taking your rural schools and knocking them down to one superintendent, one set of administrators. So Henry County's got less than 50,000 people. How many school corporations do we have, right? Knightstown, Shenandoah, Newcastle, Blue River, Tri. There's 5, and then there's kids that go to other counties as well. If you went from 5 administrators down to 1, might save you a good chunk of money.
So they're cutting judges.
That's the places I think you might see things happen. And it's really going to be trouble if that happens on no public debate, right?
Yeah.
That's where people are going to get pissed off. Is if Indiana's been a certain way for a long time, $2.4 billion deficit. We're getting rid of township government. We're going to get rid of a bunch of school corporations. We're going to legalize weed. All those things happen. Those might be the levers you can pull, but on a week's conversation, I don't know. Maybe the move is you just spend the surplus and deal with it for 2 years, and then have this conversation like adults for 2 years.
The weed thing, right? You can probably
Chase is still on weed.
You can probably look up to see how much revenue it's brought Ohio or Michigan, or Illinois.
Michigan, $300 million. $300
million.
Ohio, like $60 to $70 million a year.
Yeah, that fixes one road.
We could just delete the road funding budget.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much deleted already. Have you seen
It's good for camper sales. Here's the thing that the reason this has turned so quickly is Indiana, our economy depends upon trade in a big way. And as we've discussed, this is all interlinked. The tariffs are depressing what's going to happen in Indiana's economy. Pickup trucks built in Fort Wayne, Subarus built for adventuring women in
That's a classy way of putting it.
the REI crowd up in Lafayette,
The softball team.
Apparently a huge bit of it is pharmaceuticals.
The pharmaceutical industry is very big, right?
Chase's ED medication.
What's my wife gonna do?
You guys are going to have conversations.
Plant cucumbers this summer, I guess. So
Hopefully for you, it's cucumbers and not zucchinis.
baby carrots.
I am on a diet, Jeff.
Baby carrots. Indiana is the third most reliant state. It's after 8 o'clock. Say whatever you want, Bones. Indiana is the third most reliant state on Chinese trade.
Yeah.
And so with tariffs potentially shutting down any activity with China, puts us in a rough spot. Senator Greg Porter said, when the U.S. economy gets the sniffles, we get the cold. Like we feel it worse than other people do. According to analysis from Axios, Indianapolis, Indiana is the third According to Axios, Indiana is the third most reliant state when it comes to China, which imported $6.1 billion in Hoosier goods in 2023. More than half of that was in pharmaceuticals and medicines, followed by oil seeds and grains. I don't know what the hell the oil seeds would be, but the grains make sense. Soybeans, right?
What are oiled seeds?
Oil seeds. Maybe that's soy oil. Maybe they're just saying soybean oil. So corn and soybeans. Maybe that's what that is.
How do we get one of those Temus built here?
Soybeans, peanuts, rapeseed, sunflower seeds.
Yeah, that's soybeans. That's soybeans.
Yeah, so for us,
it'd be the soy oil, biodiesels and whatnot. So yeah, that's grim. That's grim news right there. I don't know how to fix it other than say, pay your debts off right now. Don't go Don't go taking on credit card debt.
Yeah,
probably not a good week to go buy a house. I think mortgage rates have gone up. It's the 3-month high all of a sudden. Troubling times.
What about the tax cut you get?
So remember when they said that anything is on the table?
Yeah. No tax cut?
They could take that away too, Chase.
Yeah.
Geez.
oh, if they took that, here's the thing though, is that
they're just screwing the locals.
Is the
That's not
property
state
tax
money.
thing? This doesn't. Yeah, they could taking that away wouldn't help them at all. It doesn't help the situation.
They could just redistribute it. We're going to take that money back to the state. That $300 million just for the short term until we get through the storm. Short term, we're just going to send that to the state, and we're going to fight our way out of this mess.
But we're not going to touch our rainy day fund because we don't do that. The rainy day fund stays there.
There's some storm clouds, kids.
What do you think the chances are we stop becoming a super majority in the state? Because of that?
Oh, we're far. I think we're still super far away from that.
Okay.
Braun said it was Bidenomics is what's causing the tax shortfall.
Yeah, they did get super political.
Some of them didn't, but Braun specifically was blaming Bidenomics. I'm like, I don't know. I know that we've said in here how much control does a president actually have over the economy. In most cases, not a lot, but tariffs are 100%. Like you could look at his statements.
Congress has given that power to the president, and here's my prediction. There's a hell of a lot of clouds out there, right? Like this is a shitstorm that we're looking at. And I think everybody recognizes that. Well, unless you've completely drank the Kool-Aid.
I'll be honest, Sheriff.
Are we talking about
if
the
Trump gets
Kool-Aid?
me weed in Indiana, I'll vote for him for a third term.
Do you remember when Biff was mayor in Back to the Future? In Back to the Future? Yeah. That's what this is. My prediction, and this is the glimmer of hope I have, is that Congress looks around and says, we are going to lose the House. The Republicans are going to lose the House, and they're going to lose the Senate if they don't make changes for the 2026 elections. Those people have to run for re-election and keep their jobs. At some point, they're going to have to be responsive to the angry town hall meetings. You saw one in Fishers, Indiana for the Victoria Spartz campaign. Victoria Spartz, the congresswoman who's kind of between caucuses right now. She's one of the more conservative members, but she had some really pissed off people at her too. And she was one of the few that held a town hall, so that's why that one went so viral. Those aren't going to go unnoticed. People are going to realize that they are going to get their asses kicked. And I think by midsummer, maybe Labor Day, when these guys are all back at home and they've kicked off their campaigns for next year, and they realize they have to have actual votes to keep their seats, that's when you're going to start to see them push back against Trump and take back some of the power that is there in the federal government, and we rebalance where we're at.
Back to the weed question, Jared. I've got a question.
We have too much Bucky.
So you said what? Michigan 300 mil?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens to all the people in prison that went to prison for weed?
I suppose they probably can buy it through the commissary there until they get out.
You just let them go and you don't have to pay for it.
You also would raise additional income revenue by releasing them so they can get out and
100%.
get a
That's
job.
what I'm
and then you
saying.
save money because you're no longer paying to house and feed them.
Tax the fuck out of them.
Chase for governor
It'll be
2030.
interesting because
Common sense.
I do think Congress is already freaking out because unlike a lot of times you can't really tell directly. There's not like a super direct tie-in between what a business does due to some political move that was made. But the ones that are doing it are saying, this is why we're doing this. We're doing this because of the tariff issue. This is causing us to do this, and this. Because they want to pass the buck. They don't want to they want to blame somebody else for it. So it's very clear as to what they're. Now, some of them might abuse that. They've been doing it since COVID, but
Chuck Grassley, the 106-year-old senator from Iowa, held a town hall.
How old?
How old is he? How old is Chuck Grassley for 1,000? I'm going to say he's 90.
It's not really helping the case.
91. 91. He held a town hall in between them telling him to speak up and him saying, I can't hear you. There was a very upset crowd about the lack of the Supreme Court this last week voted 9-0, which they never do, against Trump, saying, hey, we got to bring a dude back that we deported that has no charges against him. And Trump says, yeah, we don't control El Salvador. We can't fix it. And the president of El Salvador was at the White House laughing about it with him. Some of that, you're going to see the control start to shift the other way. It's pushed so far that I think you are just going to see that change this fall. I think. If not, you get the government reserve. It is what it is. Buy guns and butter. I don't know. Chase, are you prepared for? Do you have a bucket of food in the basement? You know, you're rehydrated.
No, he
food.
doesn't.
Chase, he smelled the shirt like it was stored in that bucket. It used to.
Sure, I'm just gonna go out and hunt
it-
some squirrels.
It used to have. You have the guns. You have the.
I have
You
the
you have the
guns.
bullets.
I have a couple arrows.
He's going to throw baseballs at him.
You're gonna run them over with your
So
truck.
if they pass the weed, Jared,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You should call your legislator and be
what
like, "Look,
are
let's
all
find
the
our way out of
what
this."
are all the cops going to take the pictures of when they're? You know how like you see the basic man picture where he's holding the fish. You know how cops do it with all the weed they catch.
yeah,
Where are they going?
I think they're just going to be walking little old ladies across the street to the weed shop, and they're gonna show that off. I'm sad, honestly. I'm legitimately sad that this crisis didn't happen while Eric Holcomb was governor, so he couldn't be the first guy in line to buy weed at a dispensary in Indiana, because he would have been the first one to do
I don't
it.
think Braun.
He was with Sunday Sales. Braun,
I don't think he would.
Braun.
Micah Beckwith will be the first guy in line to buy weed, and he'll find a drive-through dispensary, roll up in his high country Tahoe or his buddy's Cybertruck, and buy some.
You know how much weed we can put in the high country or the Cybertruck?
Pack the door sills.
I
man.
mean, whole.
Just roll up.
Chris Galt told me there's a lot of places to hide it in a Tesla.
I bet there are. Yeah.
That was all I got, Jared. That was all my weed questions.
You yield back the balance of your time.
Weed installment 12. from Chase.
It'd be good for the banking industry. The cash, you have to just pay with cash for everything, right? It's armored trucks because I still don't think the weed stores can operate with
Credit cards.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
cards.
Jared, I do not know. I don't know.
That's
I
actually
should know because I bought some when we were in Colorado. I didn't buy some. She
a
bought
friend bought some.
Yeah. She bought a t-shirt. We went to the dispensary and bought a t-shirt.
I was in New York State, and you couldn't buy weed, but you could buy a sticker, and they would give you a gift.
Ah.
Nice.
That's the way that worked.
how much were the stickers?
Depended upon the gift you wanted.
Yeah.
I think it was anywhere between $20 and $40.
It was the same sticker.
Same sticker.
Same sticker.
Well, in this column, the sticker's worth $40.
See, it's got hieroglyphics on it.
Shoot, you can buy beer on Sundays. Weed might be legal. There's sports betting. Or just a regular Sodom and Gomorrah, Jared.
I think we could buy a car.
Weren't you
on
raised
Sunday.
by a Baptist preacher?
Our state's like a whore that's down on its luck. It's like, oh, we found out we got a pay cut. Now we're going to turn tricks to make enough money
At
to
least
survive.
we don't have a Buc-ee's.
Man, can you imagine a
But we're
Buc-ee's?
going to tax the whores,
So
not the poors. We're going to tax the whores an extra $2 for their cigarettes.
yeah,
And those teenagers smoking 51% extra on their vape pens. Local news. Henry County. This is good news. We have good news now, guys. Henry County Memorial Park. They hired an engineer. This is in the Courier Times, so it has to be true. The park barns have passed engineering review, and they can host the county fair in the existing buildings. So they're good. The engineer said, hey, they have redundancy, even though some of the columns might be in bad shape. The building is going to hold up, and it's no worse than it was 20 years ago, which is fine because I showed goats there in the 90s, and it looked the same as it does now. While we're on the park, the Expo project is raising money. They have a $165,000 goal for a matching grant that I think they apply for in June. They have been very active on the Facebook page for the Henry County Expo project. They're applying for the Ready grant, which would get the water in place for the project, water and sewer and all that jazz. I think they've raised a little over $40,000 in the latest campaign push, so they're trying to get that by May 1st so that they can get their matching funds, make that happen, move on, yada, yada, yada. So good things.
Sure, you want to smoke this?
Just
a wrapper.
You got a lighter?
Just a wrapper.
He's jonesing. We could be in Coldwater, Michigan by midnight, buddy. You want to go?
No. Well, I do have 3 days off.
It'd be a good
Sure, I
Friday.
have not smoked in 3 years.
I've never smoked.
Well, not yet.
I've had a drug testing job consistently nonstop since 1999. How old were you in 1999, Chase?
4.
Yeah.
Damn.
I've never been. I've been tested for a job. I've never been tested. The only drug I've ever been tested for at a job was tobacco because of an insurance and stuff.
I feel that.
If you tell them you
Not for long, buddy.
if you tell them you smoke, you're
Not
fine.
for long.
Oh,
But,
so you just come clean?
yeah, basically,
Guys, I had a really tough time getting that
Tell you what,
Vizio up to the third floor.
It was actually pretty hilarious because they take $35 off your insurance premiums if you say that you won't use tobacco for the year, but they reserve the right to test you. And so I just got a call from the head of our agency. He says, "Hey Zach, come down to the main conference room." Okay.
They said, just whip it out, Zach.
And no,
Or
I
did
get
they
down,
take
and
it
I'm
here?
like, what did I do wrong? It's a 5-minute walk to that conference room, and I walk in and there's like just 10 swabs just laid out on the desk, and there's different people coming in. I'm like, oh, we're good. And then
Some of these people aren't going to make it, but I'm fine.
No, but then a guy came in. I'm like, that guy smokes in his car at every single break, every single day.
Oh,
He
boy.
looked like he was about to get fired, and he did. They fired him for it.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. Even if you wait and you say I smoke,
Don't give Mike Braun any ideas. They're kind of desperate right now.
Yeah. Well, they still do. I'm assuming that's still a thing. That's the last box we
We're going
checked.
to randomly check everybody tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because fired for
because if
nicotine.
you do
Wonder
say
It's
okay,
fraud.
we'll do.
It's insurance.
You can
Yeah.
only be fired one time. You know
let's
what I'm
say
saying?
it's like now you say, hey, I'm using tobacco. You can go back in and change it. And say,
Recreationally.
but you owe them the $35 a check for the entire year.
What if you say, but I'd like to quit? Will they put you through smoking cessation if you
I
say
don't
it at the
know.
beginning of the year?
I don't know. It was interesting.
In
I didn't know
sports
they
news,
actually tested for that.
They do if they're giving you $35 a check.
the Masters was Sunday afternoon.
Who won, Jer?
Rory McIlroy.
Did you watch any of it?
I had it on. So I have 2 television screens, and I had the IndyCar race on the big screen and the golf on the little screen. And I tuned in, and they were in the playoff holes. So I assume it was a dramatic comeback
No.
or a dramatic ending.
Yes. We'll go with that.
Justin Rose was up on the leaderboard for a while.
Yeah.
Rory, Mike Weir, Phil Mickelson, Arnold Palmer, and Bernard Longer, I think, were the last foursome, right?
Bobby Jones and Walter Hagen
Okay.
completes that roundup.
Chase, do you know what we're talking about? Do you know these names at all?
I followed it on Twitter. I have never watched the Masters. All I heard was oh no, he's going to blow it again. And then, oh, he won. And then he was on his knees. I don't know.
Ernie Els is in there too. All right,
Oh, yeah.
tell us what happened.
So
Ernie Els is from South Africa.
this
Doesn't pay taxes.
Yeah, this is a roller coaster of a round. Rory, Bryson, first hole, Rory double right out of the bat. Him and Bryson are now tied.
Bryson DeChambeau. Where do you think he's from, Chase?
America.
He is, unfortunately.
The Bryson gave it away.
So him and Bryson are tied.
Where do you think Santino Ferrucci's from?
Puerto Rico.
Yep, exactly right.
America.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, America.
No,
Connecticut.
it's a trash island.
So my problem with Bryson is I remember him being a douche a few years ago, and now everyone
He's still a douche.
loves him.
He's still a douche. He's still a douche.
All right, we
They used
interrupted
to
you.
call him Bryson Douchambeau.
Bryson DeChambeau did what now?
So Bryson then birdies 2, Rory pars. So Bryson is now leading by 1. And Rory birdies 3, birdies 4, pars 5. Bryson's bogeyed a couple of these holes. At the turn,
If he's going to
Rory-
go hole by hole, I have
Yeah,
time for more jerky.
No. At the turn, after 9 holes, Rory, I believe, is up 3.
Okay.
3 or 4.
He has it in the bag.
Yeah. Birdie's 10. He is now officially up 4 after the birdie on 10. Bogey's,
Is Bryson playing in his group?
yes.
So there's no, they can see each other. They know
can
the
see-
pressure.
Yes.
It's not a surprise. It's not a roar from 3 holes over.
Nope.
They are on the green together.
They are on the green together. Rory bogeys 11. Bryson bogey doubles 11 after jumps in the water. So Bryce is now Bryson's
He's dead.
Bryson's dead. Rory has 1 hole left that can be the make or break.
15?
12.
Okay.
12.
Par 5?
No. Par 3 over the water that we've seen people lose the Masters on, leading by 6. Jordan Spieth. Rory pars
I
it.
think he calls it spite.
Whatever. Rory pars it,
Tomato,
and
tomato.
we think we are like coast is clear, coronation.
Tune into
time.
IndyCar. Yeah.
Yeah. Rory gets to the 13th, one of the easiest golf holes out there. Rory makes double. Lets everybody back in the tournament. Bryson's still out of it. Justin Rose now is on a complete warpath. He is either birdied or bogeyed every hole in the back 9 from 11 on.
Okay.
And so he is now right behind the leaders with Ludwig Oberg, Rory,
Say
and
that 3 times fast.
yeah,
He's Irish.
and who else was in the lead there?
VJ Singh.
Yeah, VJ. No, we have a 3-way tie now.
I've got more names. I can go on and
Go
on.
for it.
All right.
So we get to 15. Rory's down 1, I believe, at this point. Hits an amazing shot, one that we will remember for years. Birdie's 15, par 16, par 17, bogey's 18 to go into a playoff with Justin Rose.
All the pressure's on Rory.
All you would think all the pressure is on Rory, and he hits 3 incredible golf shots, and Rory is your Masters champion
On the first hole. On the first hole of the playoff.
on the first hole of the playoff. Correct.
I tuned in, and Jim was noting that they were crowding all of the potential playoff holes. So there were people, the patrons,
Yes,
who made the decision, hey, I think they're going to tie through the first playoff hole,
and move
so I'm going to go
10.
get a kick-ass spot on 10.
Yes.
As they play 18 again,
They
and
play
then they go to 10.
18, 10, 18, 10
Yeah.
till,
So they were all standing there on 10,
yes,
and unfortunately, they were just shit out of luck.
yes.
What would you have done? Where would you have gone if you're watching this? Would you have gone to 10, or would you rather be the first guy on 10 or the 19th guy on 18?
Depends on where I was at on 18. If I have gotten there early enough to where I have a seat and I can see things, we're staying on 18.
Okay. But if you're too deep to actually see a damn thing,
Then I'll probably
if you're
follow them.
180 yards out from the tee box or from the green,
I'm probably following them the 10.
that would suck. I'd be so disappointed. where you go and you post up and then it's over and you don't see anything happen.
You're standing there anxiously waiting. You just start hearing cheering. And it just
Yeah.
doesn't
Like,
stop.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's over.
Get the car.
You can't check Twitter because they took your phone.
I
Probably.
will
And
say
the
that is
trophy-
one thing I do really like about the Masters. I wish
No
they.
phones?
Oh yeah,
You
I wish
look
they'd
out and
implement that in
everyone's-
most
yeah.
concerts. Like,
Comedy clubs do it. They make you put it in a
Yeah.
bag. They don't have, you can't, they go to the cabin to give the green jacket away.
Well, they do for the TV
Right.
ceremony, and then they come back out on the 18th green and redo it. It's tradition.
I'd be pretty pissed if I had given up my spot on 18 to go to 10.
I'm with Bones. I think if you got a good spot on 18, you sit on 18.
Yeah.
And don't go anywhere.
12 million people watched on
Biased.
CBS. 12 million people. Zach, IndyCar was on Fox against that madness
I
and
watched it.
the NASCAR race. Did you watch IndyCar or the Masters?
I watched IndyCar. I don't
You
care
and
much
me.
about the Masters.
And 499,998
Yeah.
other people.
Rough day.
Second biggest IndyCar race of the year on national TV. 500,000.
They're
200,000 showed up in person.
I mean, that tells you something. When the in-person, and that's for the weekend. But still, the IndyCar, I was listening to a podcast, and he described it was like, so the last two races, this one was against the Masters, against the final round of the Masters, which was a bit of a barn burner. And the last race they had was against opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. So they're going against
the spring juggernauts.
Yes, they are.
Can we go head to head against the Kentucky Derby next?
So
IndyCar is dead to me now. Anyways,
200,000. How many we fit in IMS?
So IMS has
350.
350 to 400.
Okay.
That's a single day. Long Beach did it over Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you take the, say 350,000 on Sunday at Indy plus another 70,000 on Friday for Carb Day, you're 420-ish. And then maybe another 40 or 50,000 pole day, qualifying day, whatever. Another 40,000 for Grand Prix. So that event gets 500,000, 750,000 people.
I would think 200,000 people there over the weekend would be good because I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of places.
It was
to
the
sit
highest. It was.
at Long
I
Beach.
think it was a record.
Am I right?
They sold out all the grandstands.
Okay.
All the grandstand seating sold out. And I've been there. Aaron Ewert was there, our longtime wall associate. There's
They said that-
tens of thousands of grandstands
they
along
said-
the front stretch
Yeah.
and a couple other
They
places.
said it felt amazing. On Friday it felt like a race day. I don't doubt it, but they do need to figure out. And I've heard that this is the first year of the deal with Fox, and they're on Big Fox. They need to work something out though. But like you can't. They're doing like a race every like a once a month for the first 3 months of the year, and then every one of them is against, or two of the three have been against events that people who don't normally watch a sport will stop and watch the sport. People watch the tournament that don't watch college basketball a year, and people sit and watch the Masters that don't watch a round of golf any other time of the year.
So in the IndyCar world, Chase, you were leading the
Was.
fantasy IndyCar
I
league.
do want to say, last podcast I was on, I said it was going to be a rough one for me. But then at dinner last weekend, I said I was feeling pretty good.
You felt good because we hang out outside of the podcast sometimes.
Yeah.
You are Shake and Bake 95. You tumbled a little bit down to 6th place.
Mm-hmm.
What would you account your troubles on?
I did not sign Alex Palou, and I could have.
You could have.
I could have.
He had back for team for a week, didn't he?
That's what it said. But then when I looked right before I added all my drivers,
He was going to let you
it
do
was
it.
going to let me do it.
Palou didn't win. Did you choose the winning driver this week?
Who was it?
Kirkwood?
No.
Kyle Kirkwood?
No.
Kyle Kirkwood? I did. I had him. So I had the winner. I was pretty happy. I had like the first place driver, the
You saving Alex for the 500 or something?
Yeah.
So you could have signed him already.
I could have. I'm just trying to figure out where the money's gonna go. He's really expensive.
I'm going to sign him. He's 30 mil.
He's really
He's
really
30 mil a
expensive.
week.
A couple of the drivers were absolutely impossible. Like, how bad do you feel if you signed Joseph Newgard?
Chris Spangle,
I did.
Because he was
had him.
monster expensive. Wasn't he like $45 or $50 million or something?
He's on sale now.
I got him on the cheap.
You got one.
You didn't sign him this week, right?
I've got him for a couple.
I'm not
weeks, I think.
last.
Newgarden went from $24 million to $22 million this week. He lost $2 million in value. Pato O'Ward lost $1.3 million in value.
So I'm still top 10.
What
I'm
was
like
Newgarden? I don't know if you could look at what was Newgarden opening weekend. I feel like he was prohibitively expensive. Like he was like $45 million or some insane number that I'm like, I don't understand how you get the rest of your team if you sign him.
Mr. Bones,
Yes.
you are 39th.
Not last.
You have beaten Tom the camper guy, Tommy Oaks over at Walnut Ridge RV.
Oh, he's busy selling RVs.
But what's his team value? Because that's what he said he's all about is the team value.
Bones has done phenomenally well in the team value sweepstakes.
He's the Dale Coyne of the league.
He is making money. He started with a $100 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Oaks, sorry, Tommy, earmuffs. He started with $100 million and he's down to $99 million and he's in last place. Mr. Bones is not in last place and he's grown his $100 million to $108.7 million.
Pretty good.
That said, the leader in our league is Brad Lowry, Mr. Who's winning, and he's worth $110 million. So you could have done that strategy and just chosen to win.
Yeah.
Instead, you're there.
Hold up.
When's the next
We're in
race?
for the long haul. All right.
2
We're in
weeks.
the long game here.
The next race is Barber. I think it's the first weekend in May.
How long does this go?
Till NFL starts.
Oh,
Labor Day-ish.
you got time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got.
We're in the long game here.
I mean, I ain't going to lose again.
It's been a
but
slow
you take
start.
second.
It's been a slow
Some
start.
of these
but
guys
it's
are
about
like
to get
losing
lit.
money. I want to buy that dip. Okay. I think you're all.
So your team this week, just so we know, Zach, you can maybe check the box score against this to see how our guy did over here. Let's see. He had DJ Willie P. Will Power, who completed. Does he even say how he did?
Whose team are you looking at?
This is Bones. This Mr. Bones over here in 39th place. He chose Will Power, Alexander Rossi, who guaranteed a win on his podcast, by the way. Graham Rahal, that did not go well. Renus VK, Connor Daly, that went very badly, and Colton Herta. Colton and Connor both lost you money. Renus VK made you a tremendous amount. He made you $1.2 million. Almost everybody else lost you money. John Phillips hanging in there, 8th place. Sarah Morrell in 7th. Chase, you're in 6th. 5th place is Aaron Ewert, who was at Long Beach.
Bernie Madoff of this sport.
I'm sitting there in 4th. Pat Bremer, Route 66 Motorsports. 3rd place, Christy Avery, our wall mom, just barely out of the first place, trailing Brad Lowry. Chase, she's a donor, man. Be nice. Be nice. It's not your fault. It's not her fault that she chose Stingray Rob in the race of his freaking lifetime.
It's all out of love.
She had Stingray Bob, and he did incredibly well. The winning team this week, the best you could be. Brad Lowry had Felix Rosenquist, Marcus Armstrong, Renus VK, Colton Herta, Will Power, and Kyle Kirkwood. That's your story. You got any final thoughts for me, Zach Burcham?
No.
You want to gripe about how difficult it is to book campsites?
Yeah, I mean, like
Throw shade at the world.
Yeah, well, that came up on Facebook, and I agree. So the Summit Lake Spooktacular weekend is 6 months from today. Yeah, and when it came up to book it yesterday at noon for a Thursday pull-in, so paying for an extra night, there were 7 sites at Summit Lake State Park that were available.
We've done this the last 4 or 5 years, and every year there's just been there's this theory of Christmas creep where the Christmas candy starts coming out earlier and earlier and earlier, and the Christmas presents, and it's like Halloween shit's not put away yet, and the Christmas things are out. That feels like what's happening with booking campsites for these Halloween weekends.
Yeah, so it was. I got one. Jeremiah unfortunately did not, but
got hosed.
Yeah, and you got hope for cancellation. But I had a friend that had been looking, and he said that basically the same 7 sites were all that was available on Monday. So people just bought the entire week out, and it's a hot topic on the Facebooks about whether or not they need to do something about it. And some people say nope, it's just pure profit. I would argue though that the whole idea of parks is for as many people to get out there and enjoy them as possible, and for people that can afford to go spend $250 to camp for a weekend instead of the normal $70 that it would cost to buy the 2 nights. Makes it a little bit prohibitively expensive for people to like enjoy the weekends and stuff. But I mean, I'm glad my kids are getting to the age where hopefully it won't matter, and I can just bounce around to all the parks the week after when nobody wants to go there. That's what I'm kind of looking forward
Well,
to.
that's it, Jer. I'm not going this year.
I mean, we can go.
They're not getting my candy.
We can all go visit. We can hang out at Zach's camper that night.
Yeah. You guys
Our
might come over.
tradition. Our tradition, unlike any other.
I'm tucked back in.
Passing candy out to kids.
But I hope the weather gets better. It's been up and down, up and down. Other than that, tired of driving on 70 already. And I can't wait for them to shut down 3 and just cripple Newcastle in a couple of weeks. But
So I did notice. Have you been on Main Street South near Southview lately?
Oh, there's a lane block there too because there's a water main break.
Well, there was a water main break, but south of that, there's a big old puddle that's been there for weeks. It hasn't rained.
Another water main break.
I think there's a problem.
But is that out? So is that south of the entrance to your neighborhood?
North of the entrance to my neighborhood.
Oh, darn. I was going to say if it was south, we could just say it's not our problem because it's not inside the city.
Nope, it's yours.
That corridor, I bet that right now, if you drove down that section of Main Street, South Main Street from like Baker Park South, are there probably like 6 or 7 street cuts from water main breaks?
Yeah. It's
It's
unbelievable.
incredible how many there have been.
It's truly just beat to shit.
Yeah.
And that's the good road.
That's the road that's about to get a bunch of traffic because the next main thoroughfare to the west is about to be shut down for the summer. So
we're going to work from home. Stay home, save lives, guys.
Oh my gosh. Man.
God, I want to so bad.
Somebody tell the
Can we
governor.
go back to that? That was so nice.
You delivered packages. Were you allowed to stay home?
No, we were, but there was no one else on the road.
Oh, okay.
I bet that was
It was great. And
amazing.
they weren't supposed to pull you over unless you're really dangerous.
I mean,
So,
I was being
I could
passed
get
on
to-
465 doing 95.
I could get to Whiteland in like 50 minutes. Like no traffic.
sounds-
On the way home, on the way there.
That's
like
that super fun stretch where gas got to like, was it under
40
$1
cents a gallon?
Yeah.
But people are like, look what Trump did. Gas was under. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Guess what? Gas I never bought at that price. I didn't buy any because I didn't have any cars that needed gas because we weren't going anywhere.
You should have used that $2,000 they sent you in cash for clunkers money or whatever it was, and bought some fuel tanks for the backyard.
Yeah, I bought playground equipment for my kids, and now it's gone, and we've already moved on from that. But
Chase Peyton, final thoughts.
We probably already talked about it, but how do you guys feel about Peeps?
Oh, they suck.
they
suck.
Real bad.
Throw them in the microwave though. They're fun to watch in the microwave blow up.
What if
Do they really?
What if I were to find?
They like get real big and then they collapse. So like they're marshmallows. Yeah. Peeps more might not be too bad.
What if I were
That'd
to
probably
find
be
you
pretty
some
good.
Peeps jelly beans?
I'd try that. I'd eat that.
Or what about weed peeps?
Only when it's legalized. I got a
Okay.
job to keep.
Okay.
We got to tax them.
Just put them in the grass.
We had leftover dill jelly beans, and I brought them into work.
How'd that go? Not a fan?
You really just don't like being liked, do you?
They have not forgiven me.
I bet they have.
They have not.
They hung with you,
No-
man. They're still
nobody-
tasting them.
We had a visitor today from Tennessee, and I'm like, hey, I need to try this. He's like, I don't like pickles. I'm like, I know, but you really need to try this. And he tastes one. And he's like, that is not good. He's like, that's just garlic.
This guy is like, I don't like
And-
pickles. And Jeremiah's like, you need
You
this
need-
jelly bean.
yeah,
You
try
need
this.
taste the
You need-
pickles in your mouth for the next 3 to 4
So
days.
we drove to lunch, and we're getting in the parking garage at lunch. 40
He's like-
minutes later, I really still takes pickles. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Despite this guy's honest observation about his lack of like of pickles, Jeremiah's like, this is going to make your day right
You
here.
need to understand the technology that made this pickle. I tried to talk Chase into
Hey,
eating
listen.
some when he was at
40
my
years
house.
ago, when people thought of 2025, they were imagining flying cars. We got pickled flavored jelly beans.
Intense pickle flavored jelly beans. Mr. Bones, final thoughts?
First weekend of Cars and Coffee.
Hey, there you go. Get up on that mic.
First weekend of Cars and Coffee.
You gonna drive your F-150 to it?
No,
You gonna sell it to Chase?
I'm hoping.
Did he ever
Chase?
give you a counteroffer?
No, we did not. We're still firm.
One day.
I don't know. You kind of look doughy to me.
I look doughy.
Stop it. That shirt looks great on you.
Cars and Coffee in Rushville.
No, Indianapolis. Lucas
Okay.
Oil Parkway.
That's IRP.
Yeah,
Hey, that's far away, man.
it is far, but cars and coffee are usually a good time.
What do you go for, the cars or the coffee, or is
I
there
usually
an
miss the
underground
coffee.
bourbon scene?
I usually just go
You
for
ever
the
gone to the ones
cars.
at Graham Rahal Performance?
I think they do one.
They
throughout
do a
the
couple.
year.
You need to go to those.
Yeah,
You need to go to one of those.
the one they used to do at the Tom Wood Aviation Airport
Yeah,
there on
I've heard that
96th
one.
Street was a big one.
Go to the ones that Graham hosts, because Graham's got an exotic car dealership right now, and he has for a while. But he'll pull out. He had McLaren F1 GTR there that was a
Mhm.
race car. He'll pull out his Indy cars, but he's a heavy hitter in the exotic car market. He's got a couple of singers and stuff, and he'll bring those out and put them on the floor for people
Yeah.
like that.
What kind of coffee can we expect there?
Well, it was Jack's Donuts, but I don't think that's going to go.
Why?
I've just heard some rumblings.
I think now more than ever you need to be buying Jack's Donuts coffee and
Well,
donuts.
I'm not saying don't buy them. Jack's
Go buy
Donuts used to be a sponsor, and they would give out free coffee and donuts. I don't think that's going to happen.
I should probably go buy 2 dozen tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So what do you
then
like to
I
look at?
really
What's
be-
your car? What's the go-to car? What do you like? What gets you all
Hot
to
and
quote,
bothered.
to quote Noah Gregson, what gets y'all bricked up when you go to Cars and Coffee?
If I ever get to see an Aston Martin live and in person, it's usually a good time for me.
Okay.
You don't see them.
Aston Martin.
You don't see those often
New or old?
either.
I like the 2005, 2010, whatever.
You just don't see those very
Classic,
often.
No. There used to be one at, and I think that I knew who it was. Now there was always one at Carmel Automobilia with Ball State plates, which I found interesting. And I think that was potentially Dan Towers, because I think he a Ball State guy. Or
He is chirp chirp.
Yeah, and he
The YMCA in Muncie is named after him.
and he drives a Vanquish now, and he parks it at the track. But I think it was always him down there with the Ball State plate.
Is that the 007 car?
Yes.
Yep.
That would be a DB9. But they're all that generation, they all look about the same. The Vantage is just a smaller version. There's the Vantage, the DB9, and the Vanquish.
Ferraris are always a good time to see, yeah. In the wild.
Saw a McLaren F1 once.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the one that was a Carmel automobile. Yeah, because Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing,
I saw it.
for a while was the
Custodian.
keeper of the car. The custodian. It was owned by BMW of Germany. BMW.
It was at Mid Ohio when I randomly showed up and they were testing, and I just got to get out and play
Okay.
and walk around it. And they're like, "Yeah, just we rented the place, just enjoy it." It's like, "Yep, I'm a Ray Hall fan forever." Go Dave.
Very nice.
I hope they can win soon. Presley Sora, the current edition of the Courier Times. Did you guys see that? You guys check it out yet?
I saw Presley Sora's face all over social media.
He has been getting some run for his announcement for going to IRP. We got him a full page story in the Courier Times sports section.
Nice.
Above the fold in color. Half page, the whole damn thing.
Nice.
Incredible. Very proud of the kid.
I saw him. I saw his face multiple times by multiple different news outlets covering his announcement. I was
Yeah,
like, that is-
WTHR had it.
Yeah, I was
It
going to say the
all the racing trades had it.
Yeah, good for him.
So it's a big deal. I think I might take a day or two off work.
Imagine
Go
that.
out. Listen, man. You work somewhere 20 some years, they give you 5 weeks.
I bet
It's a crime not to
Listen,
use it. I carried a week over. I have 6 weeks of vacation time to use.
I bet they ask you to leave the office. You keep bringing in those jelly beans.
jelly beans have their perks.
Well, that's when he picks them up, though.
That's when he's traveling. Yeah, you want to keep
Yeah,
him in the office locked down.
I go out, I find things, and bring them back. Sometimes they're magical, like the chicky nuggies that Chase ate all of, the white cheddar nuggies. And sometimes you get a dud, like a
So they
Lemon
cringe.
pepper
check Patreon.
jerky.
They cringe when they know you're coming back after
he
a couple weeks
He
of
brought
road
snacks.
trips.
Nobody knows.
Nobody touches his
So-
jar of candy.
Here's the thing: you buy your Walnut Ridge camper, you go to IRP, $40 general admission. That includes general admission. Doesn't mean you don't get to sit anywhere. IRP, you can go sit in the grandstand for $40. You just can't sit in the very top section. $40 a ticket, and you can bring your camper and park for free. You got to reserve ahead of time. I looked at it today. You can show up on a Thursday, leave on Saturday. Be there for all day Friday. The race is Friday. The truck series and the ARCA cars, Presley's ARCA car, are going to race on Friday night at IRP. So you roll in Thursday, hang out, tailgate, go check out the race cars, watch it for the day, get schnockered in the grandstands, stumble back to your camper that you bought from Thomas Oaks, wake up the next morning, go home. You're out $40. That's a deal.
Make sure you have a buddy to help you get down the grandstands.
I mean, or
schnockered.
Or sit in the grass.
Well, that's
You can sit in the grass too and just walk out.
Just sit down low.
Yeah.
There's not a real high wall there. You can sit down low and still be pretty good view.
Just don't get real high in the grandstand. You get real schnockered and gravity kind of takes over on your way home.
It's faster on the way down, though.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is.
That's the end of this show. If we learned anything, Chase really doesn't want to have to go to Michigan anymore for his recreational activities.
Okay, you can test me right now, Jer. I will pass. Don't make me whip it out.
We'll be back next Thursday. We'll see you then.